controlling me. Big brother's watching every move we make. In this surveillance state, there's no escape. Eyes in the shadows, in the dark of night. We're losing our freedom, giving up the fight. Can't take it anymore, the walls are closing in. This fucking paranoia, it's a mortal sin. They got us by the throat, we're puppets on a string. Time to rise up, cut the ties, let freedom ring. Can't take it anymore, the walls are closing in. This fucking paranoia, it's a mortal sin. They've got us by the throat, we're puppets on a string. Time to rise up, cut the ties, let freedom ring. Big brothers.
Holes, an unfiltered journey into the depths of adult conversations and explorations. Before you proceed, we want to make it clear that this program is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This live stream may contain explicit content, strong language, and discussions that some individuals may find offensive or challenging. If you are easily offended, sensitive, or uncomfortable with open and candid conversations, we recommend that you turn back now. We believe in fostering a space for genuine and unrestricted discussions, but we understand that our content may not be suitable for everyone. Please be aware that a wambulance will not be provided, and we will not be held responsible for any emotional discomfort or offense caused by the topics discussed. By choosing to continue watching Rock&Rabbit Holes, you acknowledge and accept the mature nature of the content presented. Thank you for your understanding, and we hope you enjoy the exploration into the depths of adult conversations with an open mind. Now let's jump down the rabbit hole.
Conspiracies thrive, and the truth's in disguise. They dive deep down rabbit holes so dark, unveiling mysteries, leaving their mark in the world of music, where nothing's what it seems. Rock and rabbit holes are chasing down dreams. Rock and rabbit holes are chasing down dreams. Rock and rabbit holes, where the whispers are loud, where the truth is a needle in a haystack of sound. From deep fakes to mysteries untold, they explore it all. Rock and rabbit hole. On Rock and Rabbit Holes, they talk of legends and those who vanished, of songs that hold secrets never to be banished. From Elvis sightings to the moon landing tunes, they spin tales of shadows in the afternoons. They dive deep down rabbit holes so dark, unveiling mysteries, leaving their mark in the world of music, where nothing's what it seems. Rock and rabbit holes are chasing down dreams. Rock and rabbit holes are chasing down dreams. Rock and rabbit holes, where the whispers are loud, where the truth is a needle in a haystack of sound. From deep fakes to mysteries untold, they explore it all. Rock and rabbit hole. With each episode, a new revelation. They question the fabric of all fascination in the echo chambers So tune in, let your mind roll free to rock and rabbit holes where the truth may be. The world of music where stories unfold. Join the journey on rock and rabbit holes. On rock and rabbit holes.
Welcome in, everybody. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Big Brother and the surveillance state. Also, we are streaming on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. We're actually streaming to multiple YouTube channels, multiple Rumble channels, also Facebook and X. Of course, everybody's links are down in the description. Hope you all had a good week. Welcome to Rock&Rabbit Holes. Got a lot of information to give you guys tonight. But first, let's bring up the rest of the Rock&Rabbit Hole crew. Our friend Jack, our friend Russell, and our friend Pastor Rapture. Good to see you guys.
Hello, everybody.
What up? Now, I'm excited about tonight because I've often thought for a long time that government is definitely watching us. Oh. Sorry, guys. Give me just one sec. Jack, you're going to have to send that in an email.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about Big Brother tonight, talking about the surveillance state. Is Big Brother watching you? While you're watching us,
Yeah.
is Big Brother watching you at the same time? But first, before we get too far into it, we got quite a few people hanging out tonight, so let's shout out the people that are hanging out tonight. I seen Greg Jonick in the chat. Good to see you, Greg. Cool Frog. Good to see you, Cool Frog. Patriot Roy D. Good to see you.
Blue Unicorn.
Good to see you, Blue. Camellia. Good to see you as well.
Jack.
Daniel,
got a
good to
thumbs
see
down
you.
before we finished the intro.
Huh?
I said I got a thumbs down on my stream before we even finished the intro.
Oh,
I got
Must be
I
that
got a
particular
hater.
community showing you some love. Hi, Daniel.
They haven't showed up for a while.
Love, you know. You got,
For like 2
you
weeks.
got love.
And poof. We was like 30 seconds in and thumbs down. I was like, I got a fan club. Like, if you watch everything I do and you watch everything and follow me to give me a thumbs down, bitch, you're a fan.
Scrap, what up, Mugs? Good to see you, bro.
Thumbs down. It still feeds the algorithm.
Agreed, it does.
Scrappy, what's up, man?
It does all feed the algorithms. So I have quite a few articles to go over tonight. When I went to start doing some research,
Keebler.
hey Keebler, good to see you. When I started doing some research, I didn't realize how many rabbit holes this actually can go down. So we'll cover as much as we can in 2 hours, but there is a lot when it comes to surveillance and us as citizens being watched. And it's not just here, it's all over the world.
Our government would never do this, okay? They would never do that to us. How dare you? The red, white, and the blue.
Well,
you know?
no, it's the shadow government. They cover all of the governments.
Hey, I'm excited about this, bro. It says, in the building, you already know, Duct Tape Face and I finished writing a song to your beat. All we need now is to get in the studio and record it. I'm fucking excited about that because as soon as I heard that beat, I'm like, oh man, I got to send this to Muggs and them. I said they would fucking slay on this. So I'm definitely excited about that.
And everyone, I apologize for not coming last week. I was coming in a different way. I mean, I was at the club and I totally forgot about tonight. But next week I will not be here. Maybe in a brief moment. Next week's my birthday. I turned a young age of 24. And yeah. Again. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut
Oh
up.
man.
Zerzeus, good to see you, my friend.
Midwest
Night Watchers, good to see you as well.
Keebler.
I warned everybody, but no one listened. Shut the fuck up, Blue.
What did you warn them about? I mean, you warned us about a bunch of different stuff. Just throwing that out there don't help, Blue.
I'll paste this StreamYard chat in the back. I think you guys can get it yourself, though, in case you wanted to share it out.
Yeah, it's right there.
I will drop the StreamYard chat or the link in the chat if somebody wants to come up and join us. You're more than welcome
if you have
to.
the balls.
But first, I got a couple articles I want to go over real quick. But first, we do have a sponsor that I forgot to play last week.
Oh.
Hit your limit with endless chores, tantrums, and sleepless nights? Introducing Fuck It All, the miracle pill designed to tackle all your parenting woes. Whether it's dealing with stubborn toddlers, rebellious teenagers, or just the everyday madness of parenthood, Fuck It All has you covered. With just one dose of Fuck It All, you'll find all the strength to say, fuck it all, and face any challenge with a smile. So why stress over the little things? Let Fuck It All handle the chaos and reclaim your sanity. An official sponsor of Rock&Rabbit Holes.
Everybody take your fucking all.
Everybody take your fuck it all.
And also, our sponsor for tonight, once Clay gets it, I think it's top notch, but that's just me.
Yeah, we also have a sponsor for tonight. Also, we have someone hanging out backstage. There's Zeus. Good to see you, my friend.
Uh-oh, what did I do? No, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
This is a good topic.
Howdy,
I
howdy.
can stop up and say hi, you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about this. I've been waiting for this all week because I know, for one, they're watching you guys. They are definitely watching you guys. Now, I do have a few articles I want to bring up here real quick. Let me see which one I want to bring up first here. Normally, I bring up the wiki stuff, but we probably don't really need the wiki to explain to us what mass surveillance is. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what mass surveillance may be. Where is that one? There we go. I'm going to use an AI reader on this because it's just a lot easier to do that. I'll give you guys the links to all these sources, of course. This one comes from the ACLU. I'll drop these links in the private chat too in case you guys want them. Let me pop up my little fancy guy here. All right, here we go. Oh, I've got to unmute it.
Parents of teens.
Jesus Christ, that was...
Okay, how come it's not? Let's try that again. Not hearing anything, are you?
Not at all.
Me either. How come?
I'm
it's
hearing
not?
myself pretty good, which is weird.
Yeah, that's weird. What's going on there? Let's try this again. Huh, maybe I am going to read it.
Making you work and shit.
I know, for real. Well,
By the way, I've had a couple of drinks tonight. I'm drinking some Powers whiskey, Irish whiskey from Cork.
nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's $40 a bottle or something, which isn't too bad. A little on the cheap side.
All right, what is going on here? It worked just fine. We tested it right before we got in here too.
The AI fucking with you, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It worked just fine a minute ago.
Great liquor. Good to see you, brother.
It's Big Brother making sure that you can't get
Alright.
the information out.
Well, I'll just read it, I guess. Hey, Great Liquor, good to see you. One of the most sweeping surveillance statutes ever enacted by Congress is set to expire at the end of last year, which
Extremely hot.
Mike's hot.
Extremely.
is it?
Extremely.
Oh, yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I swear to God, every fucking time I've come into fucking StreamYard studio lately, I have to fucking adjust something.
Like, holy fuck.
I've
man,
noticed
I
that
thought
as
you were
well.
Is that any better? Is it still? Let me know.
So hot.
Yeah, there's been times that I've been yelling at my customers. Now, I don't watch any of my videos or anything after I make them because, well, you know, that's kind of like a little self-centered. But I was watching one the other day, and it seemed like I was yelling at everybody, so I had to adjust all my mic inputs, you know, to get it fixed.
All right, how's that? Any better?
You're still pretty loud.
Eh,
Put
Damn.
the damn mic across the room, man.
Is that any better?
yeah.
I'm down
No.
to I'm down to 40.
That's getting a little bit
Turn
better.
it. Try your mixer thing.
I ain't
MIDI.
touching my mixer.
That sounds a little bit. You could
I
probably
am
go a
not
little
touching
bit up.
my mixer.
No, you're good now, bro.
That's at
Okay.
20. That's
Move
sitting
it farther from your mouth.
That's sitting at 20.
That-
I'm normally at like 180 on this fucking thing, and now I'm at 20. Fucking A, seriously?
It's the penguins. Always blame the penguins.
I fucking A.
The factory.
All right,
using a
let's
power
check your
mic.
email
I
now,
can't use a
Clay, then.
power mic.
One of the most sweeping surveillance statutes ever enacted by Congress is set to expire at the end of last year, which it did expire 2023, creating an important opportunity to rein in America's sprawling surveillance state. I'd like to get this motherfucker to work.
It's gonna start
some
working
reason.
without you again.
It's just not working. What?
I was gonna say, yeah, it expired.
It's gonna
Don't
start
forget,
working without you.
They renewed it with
Yeah,
an
they did.
exemption.
Yeah, Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act permits the U.S. government to engage in mass warrantless surveillance of Americans' international communications, including phone calls, text, emails, social media messages, and web browsing. The government claims to be pursuing vaguely defined foreign intelligence targets, but its targets need not be spies, terrorists, or criminals. They can be virtually any foreigner abroad, journalist, academic researcher, scientist, or business people. And in the course of this surveillance, the government casts a wide net that ensnares the communications of ordinary Americans on a massive scale, in violation of our constitutional rights.
They'd never do that. They would never do that. I don't. Yeah, no.
Yeah, except
not our
while they're
government.
doing it.
As Congress
Yeah.
debates the reauthorization of Section 702, it's vital that we tell our representatives in Congress we want to end the warrantless mass surveillance. Here's what you need to know to follow the debate and speak up for your rights to privacy. Now, they did actually redo that, and I got the article in here that talks about, I think it's something 5402, or I don't remember right offhand, but. Number one, the NSA uses Section 702 to conduct at least 2 large-scale surveillance programs. PRISM, PRISM, the NSA obtains communications such as international messages, emails, and internet calls directly from U.S. tech and social media companies like Facebook, Google, Apple, and Microsoft. The government identifies non-U.S. person accounts it wishes to monitor and then orders the company to disclose all communications and data to and from those accounts, including communications with U.S. persons. Upstream, working with companies like AT&T and Verizon, the NSA intercepts and copies Americans' international internet communications in bulk as they flow into and out of the United States. The NSA then searches for key terms such as email addresses or phone numbers that are associated with its hundreds of thousands of foreign targets. Communications determined to be to and from those targets, as well as those that happen to be bundled with them in transit, are retained in NSA databases for further use and analysis. Critically, while Section 702 does not allow the NSA to target Americans at the outset, vast quantities of our communications are still searched and amassed in government databases simply because we are in touch with people abroad. And this is the bait and switch. Although the law allows surveillance of foreigners abroad for foreign intelligence purposes, the FBI routinely exploit this rich source of our information by searching those databases to find and examine the communications of individual Americans for use in domestic investigations. Interesting. The scale of
very. Yeah. Sorry.
The scale of Section 702.
You ever seen the movie Snowden?
I haven't seen that yet.
Not
That
yet,
movie
no.
breaks down how the government back channels of the contractors will break down algorithms to scrape information across multiple platforms on people, violating all kind of shit.
I don't watch communist movies, sir. That's anti-American.
That's anti-free thinking to not think about things like that.
Okay, Clay, continue.
The scale of Section 702 has been growing significantly over time, meaning more and more Americans are caught in this net. When the government first began releasing statistics after the Snowden revelations in 2013, it reported having 89,138 targets. By 2021, the government was targeting the communications of a staggering 232,432 individuals, groups, and organizations. Although the government often seeks to portray the surveillance as targeted and narrow, the reality is that it takes place on a massive scale. Indeed, the government reported that in 2011, Section 702 surveillance resulted in the retention of more than 250 million internet communications, a number that does not reflect a far larger quantity of communications whose contents the NSA searched before discarding them. Given the rate at which the number of Section 702 targets is growing, it's likely that the government today collects over 1 billion communications under Section 702 each year. But these statistics only tell part of the story. The government has never provided data on the number of Americans who are surveilled under the PRISM and
Bingo.
A number that is
Bingo.
also increasing that is glaring gap in its transparency reports.
Well, so everybody remember this. Who got deplatformed that were high quality top patriots in this country got deplatformed off of multiple platforms, at the behest of the censorship of the government through subcontractors like Auschwitz.
Hey, Nevada.
You're asking who got deplatformed. There was more
only
than one
censor the opposition of which people speak truth. And if you speak truth, if you speak that truth, they got their eye on you, all of them, all 53 million avenues of it. And your friends and the friends you talk to and all the friends involved in any media profiles that you got on your friends list are all being watched simultaneously just because we speak truth.
Well, in a way, Snowden kind of showed that extends a lot further than that.
Yep, sure did.
I mean, if you think that your government isn't watching you, you have to be a fool. And then you think about,
Goddamn.
so like I was explaining today that how there's cameras all over these parking lots for security cameras, which have these bright lights. And my big issue today was the topic about the drone flight, and if there's all these flashing lights below these aircrafts, how are they going to tell my drone from the flashing lights? But even to go further in that, it doesn't take very much for the government to ask of that company to give the footage forward if they are looking at somebody in the area.
Or if it's a closed circuit camera or not, and they can tap into it at any given time, even if it is a certain, they write the algorithms to scrape through all of those things.
And really, all in
Snowden did a
all,
movie
how
doing
are
that.
we to know that that camera isn't immediately patched over to your state or local or
Right.
federal law enforcement?
Bingo. So the way that I remember Snowden coming out and exposing it is he was a government contractor that wrote certain algorithms for certain programs to, like go after terrorists and stuff. Well, he had gone on to other projects and got invited back onto contractors that he had worked with in the past that had worked on his shit without his knowledge and extended it much, much further into creepy levels of fucking surveillance on American people, extended so fucking far that it was nuts, that he felt he had to squeal cheese on some shit.
Hi, Crystal. Good to see you.
Yeah, there was a guy that refused to sign off on the Patriot Act when they were voting on it. And when questioned why he wouldn't sign off on something that would protect so many Americans, he's like, because I read it.
Right. Yep.
Well,
'Cause
Portland,
it-
Oregon
okay, so-
initially denounced the Patriot Act, and the reason why we denounced the Patriot Act, I believe it's still pretty much denounced, but the reason why is that it was going to cost our state an exponential amount of money in order to produce these plastic garbage cans, which were required for compliance of the Patriot Act that you could see through, and there was all these nonsense things that they were requiring us to produce in order to be in compliance, that our state, our city, actually our entire state decided to pretty much denounce it.
So essentially to surveil its own people, essentially in just a further extended fashion.
It did kind of seem that way.
Well, Section 702 has morphed into a domestic surveillance tool. Although Congress intended Section 702 to be used for counterterrorism purposes, it's frequently used today to pursue domestic investigations of all kinds. Both the FBI and CIA have access to some of the raw data produced by this surveillance, and they increasingly use that access to examine the private communications of Americans they are investigating, all without a warrant. FBI agents routinely run searches looking for information about Americans as part of the criminal investigations, including those that have nothing to do with national security. Based on transparency reporting, agents have conducted millions of these U.S. persons queries, also known as backdoor searches, in recent years. The only limitation on backdoor searches is that they must be reasonably likely to retrieve foreign intelligence or evidence of a crime. The standard for conducting backdoor searches...
You mean like Russia? The Russia hoax?
The standard for conducting backdoor searches is so low that without any showing of suspicion, the FBI agents can type in an American's name, email address, or phone number and pull up whatever communications the FBI Section 702 collection has vacuumed into its database over the past 5 years. These searches are a free pass for accessing constitutionally protected communications that would otherwise be off limits to the FBI unless it got a warrant. Evidence that agents have refused to comply with this low bar for conducting searches has piled up. Agents have violated the FBI's own rules over and over, accessing Americans' private communications without any legitimate purpose. They have dipped into Section 702 data for information about relatives, potential witnesses, and informants, journalists, political commentators, and government officials, including members of Congress. Damn. We're just about done. I'm not going to
Well, that's easy, right?
go all the way, but
We are spewing all of their lies into the truth, right? So they would definitely want to surveil us. That's how they keep us complacent and in control.
the Fourth Amendment guarantees the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. Government agents are required to obtain a warrant to access our emails, online messages, and chats. Large-scale warrantless surveillance of Americans' private communication is at odds with this basic constitutional principle. Section 702 also violates the Constitution by inhibiting freedom of speech and association. The reasonable fear that the U.S. government is spying on communications may deter journalists, lawyers, activists, and others from communicating freely on the internet. We all have the right to exchange messages with our friends, family, colleagues, and clients abroad without worrying that the government is reading over our shoulder. Because Section 702 is unconstitutional, the ACLU and others have attempted to challenge it in court, but the courts have failed to protect our constitutional rights. Instead, courts have repeatedly dismissed civil cases challenging Section 702, citing government claims of secrecy, and have declined to rule on claims in criminal cases that the government's backdoor searches violate the Fourth Amendment. This year, we brought one of these cases to the Supreme Court, but it refused to consider it. Of course. I mean,
you know, that's something that I was going to mention is that the Supreme Court often, when it comes down to this topic, they try to not address the situation because they don't want to set precedents in the courts. And then when it comes down to the local courts and the state and local and appellate courts, they basically hold the same opinion that they're not trying to set a precedence on this, because once they set a precedence, well, we know what that means. That they have to follow that precedence.
Dude, so what they do is they wash it around just like that movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, submitting paperwork, and I'm pretty sure almost that's why they made that movie.
Yeah, they pretty much just
shuffle it around in eons of just bullshit.
Lord Spike, good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you are staying cool.
Oh yeah, it is cool to share this later with my viewers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, we're streaming to the Conspiracy Music YouTube channel, Jack Hunter's YouTube channel. Also, we're streaming to Conspiracy Music Rumble, Just Me Art Fan Rumble. We're also streaming to Jack Hunter's Facebook page and Just Me Art Fan X.
Awesome sauce. I didn't click the button up above, but I'll end up copying it later if that's all right.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Awesome sauce.
Congress has the power to stop Section 702 surveillance. Given the court's interactions, now this is from 2023, and we know that they didn't stop it, but given the court's inactions, it's up to Congress to stand up for our rights. 15 years ago, Congress enacted Section 702. Members of Congress should not vote to renew this law without fundamental reforms to protect Americans' privacies. These reforms should include putting an end to rampant backdoor searches of Americans by requiring agents to obtain warrants before searching 702 databases for an American's private information. That, to me, just seems like that should be done anyway. Anytime they're searching for you, they should definitely have a warrant for that. So,
Didn't they break all those laws anyway when they were in Trump's information?
I'm sure.
You know, Orange Man bad. If he got the truth, we got to scrape that out of existence.
Narrowing the scope of Section 702 surveillance by imposing stricter rules on who the government can target, thereby limiting the number of Americans whose communications are swept up in the course of spying. Limiting how long the government can retain information collected under Section 702 and how the NSA shares that information with other agencies. Ensuring that the government notifies individuals when Section 702 information is used against them in court and provides those individuals with sufficient information to obtain full and fair court review. That just seems like something you would get. Something that seems like something you don't have to ask for, which is kind of sad that you do. Increasing transparency about the number of Americans' communications searched and collected through Section 702 surveillance. Now, if they did this starting in, 2011, and now it's 2024, man, I can imagine there's billions, you know.
You know why? I know why.
Beyond reforming Section 702 itself, Congress should also adopt broader safeguards that protect Americans in the face of bulk surveillance and strengthen court oversight when the government engages in spying for intelligence purposes. Over the next year, the ACLU will be seizing on this moment to press Congress to reclaim our privacy rights. Now,
Yeah, but what they did instead was, give themselves, a pass out of it. So when they renewed Section 702, they had a little exemption put in there, you can't use this on members of Congress.
Now, I think this was the one I wanted to look at.
Well, I mean, they've kind of been writing their own paycheck forever in a sense, and then telling us that we have to accept a minimum wage, which I've always strongly felt that if you're going to post a minimum wage, then that is a minimum wage you should accept. And no bonuses, no gifts.
Yeah, no, what do they call them? They don't call them gifts, but they call them, I can't think of the word right now.
Yeah, they got a fancy word I can't think of either. But basically, when it comes down to that was given to our country as a gift, and technically we should be able to auction the item off and use it towards our country in a beneficial manner, which would reduce the necessity for taxes upon our citizens, if you know what I mean.
So I just dropped a nice link in there that it basically explains all of the shit that the courts impose on us anyways, an entire shit show. That's all the explanation of how the real maritime law works within the courts, within the departments, within the whole system. I mean, that's as right in your face as that link I dropped. That's as right in your face as it gets.
So this right here came out May 23rd. House passes CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act. H.R. 5403 blocks the creation of a government-issued, government-controlled central bank digital currency. Today, the U.S. House of Representatives passed H.R. 5403, the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act, sponsored by Majority Whip Tom Emmer from Minnesota. H.R. 5403 halts unelected bureaucrats from issuing a central bank digital currency, which would threaten Americans' right to financial privacy without explicit authorization from Congress. Now, million rabbit holes to go down on this. I just wanted to read some of the comments here. That was some of Chairman McHenry's remarks. There's just one in here I wanted to highlight. A few of them, actually. We've already seen examples of governments weaponizing their financial systems against their own citizens. Chinese Communist Party uses the CBDC to track spending habits of its citizens. This data is being used to create a social credit system that rewards or punishes people based on their behavior. Now, if you guys don't know,
we already basically have that
about a social credit score over in China. If your credit score is not or big enough, you can't even get into some stores. You can't even buy food. It's pretty intense what they got going on over there.
When you think about our credit scores that we have in the United States, they're basically ran by 4 major companies, and if you have somebody who's never engaged in the credit system, well, they're worthless in the eyes of the creditors. And in a sense, that basically is the same as the um, communist countries of China and Russia, where you don't have any worth unless you have proven your worth in some way. Where I
That's
think
why
that
we're
the idea of America when we formed our country was that we all have worth equal until we've proven that we
well,
can't be worthy of that worth.
well, within that link that explains the maritime law and how that works. Like anytime you go get a traffic violation and sign yourself voluntarily up to a fictitious character of the courts under maritime law, I mean, essentially, they throw in 3 bids on your ass behind the court scenes that they don't tell you. And every traffic violation that you get charged for, they make $5 million out of your straw man account or your fictitious monetary fund traded on all of that fucking shit of United States Corporation.
Can't play that.
Well, the traffic courts are state. Okay, so that goes under the state rights, and I don't know if necessarily if that goes under maritime law, and mostly
Well,
because
it's all
those
the
are not.
entire
A lot of
system is
those are.
under maritime law. The entire system,
Well, you
every
could
bit of the entire court
technically
system is
argue that,
under
but have you
maritime
read
law.
the maritime laws? Because the
Yeah.
maritime laws
Oh
really
yeah.
don't reference. Basically, what they reference is trade, individual trades, and the accessibility of at the time the UK government to be able to seize vessels upon the seas and take their goods
Okay.
and their crew
Right.
upon violations of the state. It wasn't.
So
I
why?
mean, as
So
I
why?
know it, there's
So
nothing in the maritime law that states anything about land laws. When it comes down to land
okay.
law,
Right.
the state
Because in a
do under
fictitious
the
court,
Constitution of the United
because in
States.
a fictitious court, you are the vessel. You were born from the sea, from the vessel. You are a vessel. You are printed on a banknote bond like chattel. That is what makes up the maritime law. You are the fictitious
But it's not
vessel of the
necessarily a
chattel.
fictitious court if it was given to us under the Constitution of the
Okay.
United States and the 10th Amendment and the
There's
4th Amendment,
there's
where we have a
there's
right
another
to
document.
process and state
There's
rights.
another document that breaks it down further. Have you ever read the BCCRSS 10-page PDF court document that explains in further detail what the court system is, heinously evil, how they manipulate words, how they prove the first thing in your Miranda rights can and will use
I've read
against
that
you?
at one time here and there. I don't remember all of it, but I believe I've read that document because I've been directed
Yeah.
to it before.
Yeah, I've read both of them simultaneously together because they coincide and correlate together very, very well. And they are very informative on what the maritime system and laws do to people in this country.
I would believe that most of our court system within the United States, though, is more formed under common law than maritime law. But we've slid a lot away from the common law
Love that.
into codified law, which, if you ask the average person, codified law is law as far as law is concerned.
It's still in a maritime court system, but common law, absolutely. If we could switch everything over to common law, we wouldn't have half of the fucked up problems we got, man.
But we were talking about what was it, surveillance system. So I don't want to try to mess up the whole show on this issue.
Right.
How dare you? How dare you?
The whole point of you have to look at the reason for the surveillance. So if the government is up to all of this crooked shit where they steal our money, billions and billions of dollars, they fucking treat us like slaves. They wouldn't want the truth to come out saying that they're doing that. So yeah, they're gonna fucking surveil all of its own people to find the ones that stand up like a nail, fucking sticking up out of the crowd, ready to get fucking hammered, and poof, bye.
Oh yeah,
where'd
they're
that
not
nail go?
supposed
It's
to,
not.
but it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed that it's happening, even though they're not necessarily supposed to under our law of the land.
Well, yeah, because we see it, we know it, but they're not going to tell us that they're doing it because that would implicate themselves in guilt. They're not going to fucking tell us they're guilty.
Real quick, just want to let people know that over on the Conspiracy Music YouTube channel, here in about 10 minutes, I'm going to be shutting down the YouTube side of this stream because there's videos I would like to play, but I cannot do it on YouTube because I've been reported so many times that I can no longer use reused content. So in order to have a decent show and show some videos and play some videos, I have to shut down the YouTube side. So if you guys over on the Conspiracy Music channel are going to want to stay and hang out for the rest of the show, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to be shutting down the YouTube side. But I will post and pin the Rumble link to the top of the chat if you guys wanted to come over and hang out with us on Rumble.
Oh, good excuse. You know you did it because you can't handle my truth.
I wish I could.
Nah, we
wish
like
I
your
could. I
truth,
got-
bro. Just make a Rumble. It's real easy.
Well, I have a Rumble. I've been.
Yeah, he's got a
but
Rumble.
I do
Wait,
Rumble
let us know
random
when so
stuff
we
on
can
it,
shut
you
us
know what I
down.
mean?
At the top of the hour, I'll shut it down. Now, normally, I would just keep going live the whole time, but I got some things that I want to show, but thanks to certain people in the YouTube indie music community, I can no longer post stuff like that. So I am, though, just so you guys know, over on YouTube, I am going to be doing a stream, and I'm going to show all you guys how you can report all of these other channels that are doing the same thing that I used to do. So I'll show you guys all how to do that. And
I should give everybody a warning, though. Not that you are going to report me, just saying that when you report these channels, there are some channels who have very good legal arguments against it, and I have beat every single copyright claim ever levied against my channel. It's kind of my brag, you know. I've had quite a few.
Oh, he's the man with the details. In case anybody wants to know, he's got it figured out.
Yeah, Logan knows what I'm talking about down there. He's crazy, by the way.
Yeah,
Has
that
anybody
means
ever
you're,
told you
you're,
Logan's
you're
not
that,
Paul?
that means you're the guy.
hey, Logan, good to see you, bro. Here's the link to this next
What's up,
article
Logan?
I want to read for you guys. YouTube changed around their mobile app again. This article comes from...
Because YouTube, I heard YouTube has to report to Google now under contract who's watching what content on YouTube.
This comes from the BrennanCenter.org. Of course, I gave you guys a link to that. The article is titled, Rolling Back the Post 9/11 Surveillance State. 6 weeks after the attacks on 9/11, Congress passed the USA Patriot Act. A 131-page law was enacted without amendment and with little dissent 3 days after its introduction. In the opening volley in the series of measures that vastly expanded the U.S. government's ability to conduct domestic surveillance. Over the same period, dramatic advances in technology further bolstering the government's spying powers and rendered decades-old legal protections obsolete. As a result of these changes, we have seen a transformation in 2 short decades from the legal framework that requires the government to obtain a warrant when acquiring Americans' most sensible data to one that allows the government to amass such information without any suspicion of wrongdoing whatsoever. We also have seen the results. Easy governmental access to the private lives of law-abiding citizens have proven to have scant national security benefit while enabling the monitoring of racial and religious minorities, protesters, and political opponents. It is time for a course correction. To ascertain the path forward, we must look at our nation's past. In the early decades of the Cold War, there were few legal checks on the government's surveillance powers. The FBI, CIA, and NSA exploited this license to spy on social justice activists, most famously Martin Luther King Jr., and anti-war protesters. At the height of these activities, many Americans were afraid to fully express their political views, even in private communications, for fear of government snooping and retaliation.
So they already did it, right? They don't do that no more, right?
When the Senate's Church Committee revealed these abuses, Congress and government agencies responded by enacting laws and policies to limit surveillance. They shared a common feature. Law enforcement and intelligence agencies could not collect information about Americans unless they was individualized, fact-based, suspicion of wrongdoing. Spit it out, Clay. The level of suspicion, for example, probable cause or reasonable basis to believe, could vary depending on the context and the information sensitivity. But there could be no suspiciousness surveillance. God damn. I got serious cotton mouth going on. Alrighty. This rule served to protect not only privacy, but also civil rights and First Amendment freedoms. It is much harder for government agents to target people based on their own racial or political bias, whether conscious or subconscious, if they must point to facts indicating likely criminal activity. Of course, the system wasn't perfect. It succeeded, however, in significantly constraining the government's improper domestic spying. And it did so without negatively affecting national security. The 9/11 Commission found fault with many of these government practices, but it never suggested that the government should collect more information about people in the United States with less basis for suspicion. After 9/11, the legal protections against suspicionless surveillance, God, say that twice as fast, suspicionless surveillance, were swiftly and systematically cast aside. In a variety of contexts, it became lawful for the government to collect an American's sensitive information based merely on a claim that the information was relevant to the legitimate purpose, regardless of whether the person was reasonably suspected of wrongdoing. Even for the most sensitive of information, communications content, Congress gave the NSA free rein to collect phone calls, texts, and emails between foreign targets and Americans. Communications that previously could not be obtained domestically without a court order based on probable cause.
There was too many questions on the 9/11 happenings. You know, we know what we know now. Everybody digging in as deep as we have, and deep many, many things. You know, things don't add up. And they didn't want people coming out with the truth on the things not adding up. So they amped up the budget for Big Brother way big at that point. And that was their excuse. They needed something as an excuse to scrape the minds of people spitting truth from existence off the platforms of media.
That's un-American.
Technological advances created fertile new avenues for suspicionless collection. Smartphones, for instance, keep detailed track of Americans' whereabouts. Data that can be fed into sophisticated computer algorithms to determine a person's associations, activities, and even beliefs. Courts were slow to recognize the sensitivity of this data, and until quite recently, the government could force cell phone companies to turn over any such information deemed relevant.
Man, fuck that. Wait, what?
That said beliefs in there, Clay.
Fuck up.
So that said, so hold on. That said beliefs in there, and knowing that right there, 9/11 beliefs, spying on people based on beliefs through algorithms, and then knowing Bill Gates sat down with the CIA and they invented a COVID jab that said could suppress certain belief factors in the operational cortexes of the brain that are operated under that, and that's what the jab was bioweapon designed for fighting against people believing a certain way in their brain under Big Brother, surveilling all of those people that would, at the behest of the truth, you know, they didn't want the truth to come out. They done fucked up. They spied on everybody.
Agreed, Lord Spike. America is no longer the America we grew up in, my friend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely changed.
No question about that.
In 2018, the Supreme Court finally held that the government needs a warrant to obtain cell phone location.
Individually and governmentally, by the way. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Incredibly, The government interprets this ruling to apply only when it compels companies to disclose the data, not when it purchases the data from a willing seller. While there are statutory restrictions on phone and internet companies selling customer data to government agencies, there are no such restrictions on many types of app developers because these entities didn't exist when the relevant laws were passed. Moreover, any company is free to sell location information to a digital data broker, which can resell it at a handsome profit to the government, basically laundering that data through a middleman.
Hi, we'd like to contact you about your car's vehicle extended warranty. That's how we got your number. Thanks.
Well,
Or
yeah,
freaking
that's
hell,
like,
man, you're having a conversation about something, some sort of product. It doesn't matter what the product is, right?
Yep.
And it shows up on your algorithm in your
15
feeds.
minutes later, you're seeing advertisements for it on the
Yep.
TV. You're getting freaking emails about it. Your Amazon, freaking accounts loaded up with this.
Oh yeah, I
Your
get that all
live
the
feed, if
time.
you scroll-
I'll look up something like a 3D
Yeah.
printer, and the next thing you know, for 3 weeks, I got 3D printer ads. I didn't
Oh
really
no, I'm
want
not
a
talking
3D
about
printer.
looking
And-
anything up, bro. I'm talking about
Just
just
talking about
Talk
it.
Viagra.
having a
Talk
conversation.
about,
Yeah.
talk about big dick pills, bruh. Yeah. I
Bro.
know, not that I talk
Okay.
about it a lot, but I'm saying
Easiest way to tell. Easiest way to tell. Clay, you got
Sorry,
Facebook,
man,
right?
I don't think a lot about
Talk around your phone on
Viagra.
Facebook, and all of a sudden Facebook starts loading you Facebook ads of companies that are talking about about the shit that you were just talking about every time, because Facebook is Mossad. It's Big Brother. It's listening to you all the fucking time. If you've got that, it cross-tracked you across like 9 different platforms, and all your friends and all your followers and everybody that you're associated with, got them too. So everybody's surveilled right now by the fucking government that supposedly don't do that.
Why the hell is it the Mossad? Why is it not MI7?
all of
There's a lot of reasons, man.
In short, it is even easier today than it was in J. Edgar Hoover's time for the U.S. government to collect sensitive information about Americans and foreigners alike. It should come as no surprise, then, that we have seen a return to some of the abusive practices of that era. After 9/11, the FBI developed a system of ethnic mapping and broadly infiltrated mosques, tasking informants with relaying attendees' conversations. Since at least 2015, federal agencies have closely monitored Black Lives Matter protesters' social media posts, tracked their protest activity, and in at least one instance, opened intelligence files on journalists covering racial justice protests. Just last month, we learned that last year, we learned that Trump's Department of Justice obtained the communications metadata of Democratic lawmakers and their family members, including a child. When was this article fucking done? Oh,
We have a
2021.
very
Okay, it's not that
similar
old.
reference to that right here in Portland. We had several journalists that were pulled into unmarked vans. Basically, they looked like little what are those Chevy Astro vans? It didn't even look like a police car at all, and they were
An express van, Chevy Express van, black, tinted windows.
They were escorted off, and
style.
all of their gear was confiscated. They were charged with disturbing the peace or whatever, and their gear was then put into it was a certain legal realm where they couldn't necessarily file for a I can't think of the word right now, and I'm supposed to know that stuff anyway. But they couldn't necessarily
subpoena
file
for the evidence
for their personal for their personal property back, and that's because it was under investigation. And they ended up wiping all of their drives. They ended up not only wiping all of their drives, but collecting the data. And it turned out that it was and it was one of the Black Lives things, by the way. It turned out that once the Oregon Supreme Court got a hold of it, the Oregon Supreme Court's like, hey, man, these reporters have a right to report a story. And these were actual reporters from news stations, which was pretty bogus.
Oh, yeah. What was the gal on Fox News that said she wanted to come out with the Epstein story in 2012, and all the CEOs and shit told them, no, squash it. Or Glenn Beck was going to come out and talk about the military FEMA camps and the military having active working guillotines, and they told him, "Nope, we'll deplatform you." And he was like, "Nope, I can't." And it was like he turned. Jesse Ventura tried to do the same thing on
Yeah, but
TV.
Beck,
Video, all
Beck
that
came
shit.
up with some really wild stuff that was just
A lot of it's provable, though.
A little.
Considering
it is. That's the top
But
of the
there was a
hour
lot
on
of it
streaming.
also that was a little off the wall.
Well,
if you know
yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own off the wall shit tied to it, but it's like, how many rabbit holes when people connect their own dots do you dig into? I know for certain that the military has had active working guillotines, and had Hillary Clinton gotten in presidency, we'd have been in a nuclear holocaust. Anybody that spoke truth like us would have been to the guillotines first. Anybody below us that was still confused would have been in a re-education camp on a yellow, red, and blue fucking sticker dot system according to your VPN address, mailbox, fucking all kind of fucking stories and shit, man. Data
when
logging.
it comes down to Hillary, I kind of think that whole subject is just so old that it just kind of like doesn't matter anymore. You know, what? So when was the last time you saw her making any major speeches of any type of power?
Aside from her clone doubles, the day that she passed out next to her exit vehicle and apparently had a heart attack that she didn't come back from. Apparently, I heard they reanimated her ass and hung her.
So that's basically where I was going. Is you have a lot of people that go on to this. Now, I'm not a Trumpy. I'm not a Biden or whatever his name is. I'm not into any individual party. Actually, I kind of think that our division in parties has been emphasized lately. Now, there's always been a division of party within our government. Our politicians have always had a serious division. But when it comes down to the average citizen of the United States, it's typically been throughout my life, oh, you voted for jackwagon so-and-so? Well, I guess that was kind of stupid. Let's hope it doesn't
between the people.
And then it turned somewhere around 2016, 2018. It turned to a point where not only oh, you voted for jackwagon so-and-so, I hate you. I don't want nothing to do with you. I want you to die. If your last breath was tomorrow, it wouldn't bother me. And I want you never to freaking comment me. I think we went into a even more vitriolic response individually, publicly, not politicians, individually, publicly, compared to the politicians who necessarily don't have the same vitriol that we all hold individually. Now, I'm not saying me. I'm saying a large number of our population.
That's agreeable, but who also had a major determining factor in that? All the people like idolized some kind of actor, famous person, musician, or whatever. All of the shitty people that were in Hollywood got up on those stages and fucking the same as the media will and fucking lied to people under the Smith-Mundt Act, knowing they were lying to people, and we caught them in the lies, and they still kept lying. All of them facilitated together. So it's like, no, we're not stupid. I'm not going to complain, or I'm not going to like claim to be complacent and stupid. All of the shit has been here the whole fucking time for us to see them lying to our faces, connect the dots of how they rip us the fuck off year after year. They give us a two-party system, which indicates don't free think. You only get right or left. Keep your head down. Don't look up. Don't look here. That's what that two-party system is, while they sit there and three-party weaponize the fuck out of it against American people.
Well, yeah, there's never been really a third party. There's always been pretty much the Republican and Democratic Party in the United States, even though there has been since the 40s, has been a third-party system, but it's never necessarily been a third-party system. It's always been either the Republican or the Democratic Party, because the third and seventh and 10th parties that are out there, pretty much they're considered an unviable asset as far as, now, in my own opinion, as far as voter potential, because every single vote that goes into one of those parties necessarily doesn't support that party, but removes from either the main two parties, and never will support the third party until it gets to a point to it wins. So technically there's kind of a
There's only two
double
options
negative
to
there that
dissect
they
them.
can never ever cross, which is the
Yeah.
independent party, any independent party,
So now,
overreaching the political and public acknowledgement of the initial two parties, which are the Republican and Democratic Party.
yes. Now imagine you're the builder of the stage which presents the Republican and the Democratic Party, but you're actually the one that invented the public Republican and the Democratic Party, and you're the stage builder, and you hid behind the scenes the whole fucking time and gave people the illusion, right or left. I mean, that's what we're living.
That would be the Penguins.
All right. Let me finish this. I'm almost done here. Also, unsurprisingly, there is zero evidence that the suspicionless surveillance has made us safer. Consider the NSA's program of bulk collection the poster child for suspicionless surveillance, in which the agency obtained Americans' phone records en masse. 2 independent reviews found that this program yielded little to no counterterrorism benefit. Indeed, there is no evidence that overcollection is counterproductive. Multiple government reviews of domestic terrorist incidents have found that agents missed signs of trouble because those signs were lost in the noise of irrelevant data. A comprehensive overhaul of surveillance laws is in order. The goal should be reviving the requirements of individualized, fact-based suspicion for collection of Americans and others in the United States, while narrowing the permissible scope of collection on foreign overseers. Achieving this goal will require restoring limitations that were stripped out of the law after 9/11, as well as enacting new ones to ensure that American sensitive information is protected from disclosure, regardless of who holds the information or the technology used to capture it. This is, without question, a tall order. It is also imperative. The past 20 years have given us a glimpse of what the future could hold. In the next 20 years, depending on what steps we take now, the United States can become a surveillance state in the mold of China. Or we can realize our aspirations to be a country of which people of all races, ethnicities, religions, and political beliefs are free to live their lives and speak their minds without fear. Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, UK is already a surveillance state.
Real quick, I'm going to be shutting down the YouTube side. So if you guys want to keep watching the show, hit that link up there on the Conspiracy Music chat. Come over and join us on Rumble. Thanks for hanging out with us, YouTube. You guys rock. Come and hang out with us on Rumble.
Fuck YouTube.
And listen to the rest of the show. I'd like to stay live on YouTube, but I can't play any videos. I can't do nothing. So we're going to shut down the YouTube side and go over to Rumble, where I have a little bit more freedom. So come and join us. And thanks, YouTube.
Hopefully this doesn't kill down us. It just kind of moves over, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah.